So there will be questions in the exams on histology. Exams on histology. In practicals, you will get slides of lymphoid system. In theory, there can be question anything like differentiate between thymus. I'm just giving an example. Thymus and lymph node, or lymph node and spleen. Thymus and lymph node. तो क्या बोलेंगे? Lymph node and spleen, what is the difference? Both of them have lymphoid follicles. Spleen in every lymphoid follicle has an eccentric arteriole. आपके वाइवा क्वेश्चन में आपको जब स्प्लीन का स्लाइड आएगा, it has lymphoid follicles, yes. Then how it is different from lymph node? In every follicle there is a eccentric arteriole. Lymph node doesn't have it. What lymphocytes are there here in the lymphoid follicles? ये जो है ना ऐसे यहाँ पे follicles होते हैं. What follicles are there? What are there? Huh? What lymphocytes are there inside? This is cortex, this is medulla. So here are always B lymphocytes. In the follicle are B. And T are in the paracortical zone. Okay? T are in the paracortical zone. Now some of the follicles may show a pale center. What is that pale center? Germinal center. What is that pale center? Germinal center. What is that germinal center?
It's where the new cells are being
न्यू सेल्स. आप लोग स्कूल में लास्ट दिन पे मारामारी करते थे कि बच्चे लोग सब मारने का इसको आप लोग डिसेंट, इसके लिए तो आप यहाँ पे हो. रियलाइज दैट, सॉरी. तो जब भी लोग मारते हैं ना, किसी को मारते हैं ना, तो उसको बोलते ये ले रहे, इसको बीच में ले. वो तो आपने सुना देखा रहे, बीच में ले रही उसको. देन वो बीच में ऐसा पड़ा रहता है, लोग रैंडमली हाथ चलाते रहते हैं, आधे अपने ही लोगों को मारते रहते हैं. So there is capsule, there is subcapsular sinus. So arterioles, the efferent arterioles come like this. Efferent lymphatics come like this, not the arterioles. So they get a antigen जो घुस गया body में. Then it is brought to the center, and antibodies are produced in the center of a follicle against that antigen. New antibodies are pale. New plasma cells which produce antibodies are pale. No, not new antibodies. The plasma cells are pale, and therefore that pale germinal center is there. Now this you remember for your lifetime. A slide of lymph node with multiple germinal centers. Germinal center means that is called as a secondary follicle. This is a primary follicle without a germinal center. If you see a lymph node with a primary follicles doesn't have germinal center, that means lymph node is not infected. कळलं? उसमें germinal center किसी में है नहीं. You take a lymph node slide and almost every lymphoid follicle is having a germinal center. That means this lymph node is infected. Because मी काय केलं ना तू? ठीक है ना, जर्मिनल सेंटर्स एक्सेसिव नॉर्मली रहते भी है थोड़े से, बट एक्सेसिव देन द प्राइमरी. The secondary follicles with germinal center are more than primary which are without germinal. That means the lymph node is infected. Okay? Spleen में there is periarterial lymphatic sheath which is around the which is around the arteriole and peripheral white pulp. Okay, periarterial lymphatic sheath and peripheral white pulp. एक में T lymphocyte होते हैं, एक में B lymphocyte होते हैं. I think the T are here, B are here. But one basic thing about spleen, which you need to understand. If the splenic artery comes here, goes into one of the trabeculae, okay? Then from the trabeculae it comes out. From the trabeculae it comes out. And then it opens up. Then it opens up. And then there are, so here when it is passing, it is surrounded by a follicle. It is surrounded by a follicle. This is the white pulp. लोग ना स्प्लीन में क्या है, स्लाइड में क्या दिख रहा है सर, व्हाइट पल्प एंड रेड पल्प. So what is white pulp? What is red pulp? So white pulp is the lymphoid follicle with arteriole. What is red pulp? This artery then opens up. This artery then opens up, and then there are elongated cells called as stave cells. ऐसे elongated cells रहते हैं, and then there are fibrils. That means there is a splenic sinusoid. What is this? A splenic sinusoid. This sinusoid walls, there are gaps. Everybody is with me? तो कोपऱ्यातला मुलगा? These sinusoids have gaps. Through this gap, the RBC comes in the splenic pulp, and here there is the red pulp. So what has the red pulp? Red pulp has macrophages. Red pulp has monocytes. Okay? Surrounding the sinusoid is red pulp. Surrounding the arteriole is white pulp. Surrounding the arteriole is white pulp. Now RBC comes out. RBC comes out. If that RBC is young, less than 120 day old, it will go back. It will go back. Ali Baba, he went inside the gufa, Khulja Sensei came out of the gufa. बराबर है? तो normal RBC is Ali Baba. Goes inside the gufa of spleen, comes out. Ali Baba had a brother. याद है नाम क्या था उसका? कासिम. कासिम एक दिन अली बाबा के पीछे पीछे जाता, फिर वो अंदर गया और बाहर नहीं आ सका. He was killed. So who are those Qasim RBCs who get killed? More than 120 day old. चलो, that is one criteria. More than 120 day old. Those which have malarial parasites. इसके लिए मलेरिया में स्प्लीन बढ़ता है. बिकॉज वो माइक्रोफेजेस मोनोसाइट है ना, वो 40 चोर है, वो बैठे हुए. अब ये मार इसको, मार देते. ओके, देन you know there are some diseases like hereditary spherocytosis, oxygen carrying capacity, sickle cell anemia. Oxygen carrying capacity is normal, but वो जो cells है ना, वो यहाँ से pressure में बाहर आते but अंदर नहीं जा पा रहे. ओके, अंदर नहीं जा पा रहे, वापस बाहर नहीं आ रहे स्प्लीन के सब्सटेंस. So then they get killed. They get killed. Okay, so that is Qasim. So Qasim is RBC more than 120 day old. Qasim is RBC with parasites, RBC with abnormal shapes. Although oxygen carrying capacity normal, वो बोल रहे बाबा मैं कासिम नहीं हूँ, मैं नॉर्मल. तो therefore treatment for all this hereditary spherocytosis, sickle cell, and sometimes they remove the spleen only. Spleen को ही हटाओ. So RBCs मरेंगे नहीं. That person suffers from polycythemia. उसको हर 1-2 महीने में जाने का, ब्लड देने का ब्लड बैंक में, वो फेंक देने का, डोनेशन नहीं. That blood has to be discarded. Okay, so that is spleen and lymph node. So this is how spleen works. ये basics है spleen का. मैं तो इतना, जब मुझे समझा मैं इतना एक्साइट हो गया था. I always share this with medical students. वो उनको समझते नहीं, वो मलेरिया में स्प्लीन, उनको मालूम है मलेरिया में स्प्लीन इंक्रीज होता है. क्यों होता है? That is all explained in histology. Okay. Thymus and lymph node, thymus or anything. Thymus is a primary lymphoid organ. Primary lymphoid organ. There is presence of blood thymic barrier. क्यों है blood thymic barrier? Because so that cells are not sensitized. The T lymphocytes, it's a T lymphocytes sensitized ना हो जाए अपने body की तरफ. 95% cells in the thymus are killed. Only 5% are released in circulation. Otherwise, they just check. उतना quality check है. The greatest quality check in the world is in thymus. ते नको पोच नको करू ते घेते. पंखे आवाज करतो कसं नंतर आपण करू एंडला करू. मैं करतो. The greatest quality check happens in thymus. 95% cells are killed, only 5% are released, which are absolutely neutral, which will not damage the body. And these cells, they go and they settle in paracortical zones, they settle in periarterial lymphatic sheath. Okay, so that's thymus. Thymus, primary lymphoid. Thymus, there is blood thymic barrier. Thymus doesn't have reticular fibers, it has only reticular cells. These reticular cells have tight junctions. These reticular cells have tight junctions with each other. वो ऐसे एक दूसरे के साथ टाइट जंक्शंस में रहते हैं और इसके बीच में डेवलपिंग टी लिम्फोसाइट. T lymphocytes absolutely neutral. They are not allowed to kind of interact with the body and get sensitized. And so हर एक को चेक करते हैं against our body kill. So that is thymus. Okay, so myasthenia gravis and all में thymus को निकाल देते हैं. फिर वो टी लिम्फोसाइट बहुत हो गया हमारे पास. वो इसमें से होता है जो बोन मैरो में से भी प्रोड्यूस होके यहाँ पे डेवलप होते हैं. When this blood thymic barrier breaks, no, then all T lymphocytes start acting against our own body cells. So that is very important. The blood thymic barrier is very important. And last difference मैं पूछ सकते हैं with the tonsil. Tonsil क्या है? Tonsil is same like a lymph node. Only difference is because it's in the oral cavity, stratified, squamous, non-keratinized epithelium 1. Tonsillar crypt. Tonsillar crypt दूसरा. Otherwise it has lymphoid follicles. बाकी story same.
Nice.
उसको बात